What's up guys, my name is Jujutsu here, and today we're going to be making a new video. The video we're going to be making is based on the 3 big Jujutsu clans and new information that we've got recently from Gojo Ukutami. He has went through an interview, and in the interview he has given us more insight on what answers we've been actually waiting for, and he's going to be able to give us some. We're going to have some answers based on some characters, we're going to be having answers based on how people in the Kamo clan actually worked, and we're going to also have information on how Gojo was when he was a kid. If you haven't already, make sure you leave a like on the video. I would appreciate if we can aim for around 80 likes, I believe in you guys to do so help the boy out. Also, I would also appreciate if you subscribe because I'm trying to hit 15k before the end of the year. And yeah, let's get into some of the information on the big Jujutsu clans. Within the Jump Giga magazine, one of the first questions that actually do come about is question on the Zenin family. This has been a question that has been wavering around in the community, and Gojo Ukutami was actually able to answer it. So the question was, are heavily restrictions a special feature of the Zenin clan, or is it just a coincidence that both are in the Zenin family? Now, the answer to this that Gojo Ukutami gave is it was just a coincidence, though it's possible that it's inherited. So he didn't want to really give us too much information on that. It seems like it is a coincidence completely, but there could be a small possibility that they could have inherited it from someone earlier on in the family, and it just so happens to be within the Zenin clan. Told you Maki are really lucky, and hey, they should use that zero curse energy to good use, especially Maki. Another question to do with heavily restrictions were, is heavily restriction something that only appears once a generation like 6 eyes? The answer to that from Gojo Ukutami was no. Heavily restriction doesn't work similar to 6 eyes where it's once in a generation, but it's also very unlikely that it would come up within someone as they're born. Now, if you look at it for what it is, the heavily restrictions were used on Maki, Mekamaru, and Toji, and this would be an indication that someone else can be born maybe tomorrow with the heavily restriction. Although it is unlikely, it's not impossible. So yeah, that's also very interesting that he added that, because you don't know how often or frequent the heavily restriction usually came. Now, onto the Kamo family. This is a very interesting one, and something that I'm surprised he didn't even include within the manga. So, when Kenjaku took over the Kamo family, were there any survivors aside from Narutoshi and Shino? And in response to that, Gege says there were many others, but Narutoshi's father was defeated. Now, we don't know a lot about Narutoshi Kamo's dad, but we now know that he got absolutely mollywopped by Kenjaku, which allowed Kenjaku to take over the clan and be able to do whatever he wanted. Kamo was able to survive because he didn't want to fight just to die for no reason, as Kenjaku also said. So that is very crazy that the first time that we're proper hearing about what Narutoshi Kamo's dad can do is to hear that he got defeated by Kenjaku. That is pretty funny. And up there when it comes to important questions, one of them would be, why did Narutoshi Kamo change his hair? Gojo Ukutami was like, to change his mood. After being kicked out and booted by Kenjaku, he had to change his mood a little bit. He always had his hair cut at home, meaning that every time he had that type of style, it was because someone at home was able to do so. So to change his mood and to change the vibes is also a representation that he's no longer home and he's not part of the Kamo clan no more. He went to a fast haircut store without a second thought, so it cost 1,000 yen, meaning that he basically got a cheap haircut just to quickly do it and then off the go. He really got his haircut from supercars. Damn. Next we'll touch on the Gojo family, because we actually do not know how Gojo was treated at home. So the question was Gojo treated kindly / lovingly as the head of the Gojo family? And apparently he was spoiled rotten. So what he's basically telling us is that Gojo was a spoiled brat. Not only was he basically, given a lot of love when he was younger, he was treated like highness and spoiled because he had, the gifts. He had the 6 eyes and the limitless. So no wonder Gojo's so cocky. But I'll be lying if I said he doesn't deserve it, because he's basically carrying that family on his back by himself. So yeah, the Gojo family, they have Satoru to thank. The next question based on Gojo was, did the Zenin family not welcome back Megami, who had the family technique, because of Gojo? And the answer for that was, because Gojo was around, they couldn't fulfill the contract made with Toji. See? Chapter 138, if Gojo dies or is mentally incapacitated, the contract would then come into effect. So they weren't allowed to have him until Gojo pretty much was in either of those situations. So as you guys could tell, they would have taken Megami with open arms, especially when they knew how precious he was with the 10 shadow technique. But unfortunately, Gojo already sent them the contract and they had to abide by it. Next question to do with Toji. Did Toji ever think about taking revenge on the Zenin family? The answer from Gojo Ukutami was no. Toji really didn't want to take revenge on the Zenin family, and it's a delicate issue either way, whether he naturally had no desire to, or if it was because of Mamaguro being Megami's mom. Now when you see that, And when you hear that, you think, okay, Toji didn't really have a resentment towards the zenin family, he just decided to leave it. In addition, you can see that he also has care for the mother of his child and wouldn't want to put them in that position. And I also believe that she was the reason that he kind of changed in his ways. So yeah, that was very interesting. On to the next question was, Toji's type in woman, what is it? And Gekko Katami actually didn't even say, yo, a girl with a big bum, a girl that is hardworking, a girl, no, none of that. He said a woman who can financially support him. Yeah, Toji is that type of guy. He'd be looking for the sugar mamas. Okay, I see you, Toji. Next question, how much interaction did Naiwa have with Toji? Gekko actually said that they didn't even have that much interaction, all things considered. But as a kid, he used to secretly follow Toji around because he wasn't in the house very much and he pretty much saw someone that he admired. So that's why he followed. Naiwa really saw this guy as a role model, so it makes a lot of sense. Now into the big bad boy questions. The question they asked him was, of Gojo, Megumi, Maki, Mai, Naobito, Naiwa, Toji, Narutoshi, and Narutoshi as Kenjaku, and Kenjaku as Geto, who has the strongest grip strength? Grip strength would probably mean that they're able to hold on to something and not let go. And the answer was ignoring Toji and Maki, because they're Zeruka's energy and they're probably broken in that case, especially when it comes to physicalities, is Kenjaku wearing Geto's body. I can see that being the case, especially in the way and the mannerism that he actually holds his cursed spirits. He'd be holding them in a certain way where it looks like he's firmly attached to them. So I can understand a bit why it would be specifically in Geto's body as well. And the fact that he said ignoring Toji and Maki allows you to know that the Zeruka's energy really be making your body broken. And it kind of also lets you know that Toji and Maki are pretty much the same. Now on to the next question of Gojo, Megumi, Maki, Mai, Naobito, Naiwa, Toji, Narutoshi, and Narutoshi as Kenjaku or Geto, who is the strongest without cursed energy or weapons? We actually get this as a very important detail. That this is something that even I wanted to know. Who would win in hand-to-hand combat, right? So from what we see, it says ignoring Toji and Maki, because as I said, they're broken. Kenjaku and Gojo are about the same level. So stripping away cursed energy, stripping away techniques, weapons, anything like that, Kenjaku and Gojo would be toe for toe. And then afterwards, it would be Naiwa Zenin, Fushiguro, then Mai. So that would be the order. Toji and Maki at the top, Kenjaku and Gojo on the same level, then you have Naiwa Zenin, Megumi, then Mai. What an interesting list. Anyway guys, so then that concludes the interview. I appreciate you guys coming through to the video. If you haven't already, make sure you leave a like. I like this type of interviews because it's able to allow us to dive in a bit more into the characters and give us something new. Also, make sure you subscribe, turn on the post notifications, and as I say to the new and old people that come and visit my channel, Jana.